Welcome to Teachings from the Masters with Daryl Shaun Price.
Hi, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today I want to talk to you about one of the most difficult pieces for people to understand when it comes to you truly being the creator of your reality, you being the master, you being able to create any experience you desire and manifest miracles. And that is that you need to ignore reality. You need to ignore the reality that you believe is real because it keeps you stuck. Your beliefs are limiting, and it doesn't matter what they are. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to get a lot of comments on this one about how dangerous I am. I'm going to get a lot of comments about how this is just fantasy, this is just delusional, and it's nice and it feels good, but you're not going to get anything in life unless you go do stuff. And that's okay. But your attention is your superpower. And so yes, you can get out there, you can hustle, you can push, you can try to force the outside world to change to something you want. And you might see some results and you might see some changes, but only within the boundaries that you currently believe. So yes, for example, if you want to be a millionaire, there is a logical path where you can work and hustle and push and network and do more things and do more work and do more stuff and do whatever it takes and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And you'll probably see $1 million in your life that fit very well within the beliefs you already had of how that works. And that's the problem with putting your attention on external actions and on reactions to things that happen, those experiences outside of you. The problem with putting your attention there is all you're doing is feeding that same identity that plays by the same rules. So you're eating off the same plate. Sure, you may be eating more of the same thing off the same plate, and so you feel better because instead of 4 French fries, you got 52 French fries. But you're still just eating French fries. For you to truly manifest miracles in your life, for you to truly be the creator, for you to truly step into your power as the master, because you are, that's who you are, it requires you to ignore reality. And why is that required? Because it's just a reflection. When you start to live in alignment, you start to realize it is just a reflection. Everything is just a reflection. The plants you see around me, the birds you hear, if you do hear them around me, I don't know if this microphone picks them up or not, but there's beautiful bird noises, just a reflection. The beautiful sky and setting sun, just a reflection. And I'm standing in this spot. I'm standing in this spot for a very specific reason. So I'm standing right by a grapevine trellis, which I'm not sure if you can see, has bunches and bunches of grapes growing on it. You may not be able to see that, but all of this grapevine trellis has a bunch of grapes on it. I've got a blueberry bush right here behind me that is starting to blossom and has blueberries turning blue. I've got cherry trees back there. I've got fruit everywhere. I've got blackberries. I've got raspberries. And what did I do? Well, obviously I went and tilled and took care of the land and planted them and took care of the plant. No, I haven't done anything. I moved into this house 2 weeks ago and they're there. That's it. And they're already fruiting and they're already taken care of and I don't have to do anything and they're happy. But that's not how it works. Well, maybe not on the plate you're eating off of. Let's dig into that plate analogy a little bit more. So imagine this. You are sitting in a restaurant, the restaurant of the universe, the restaurant of you, actually, the restaurant of your spirit, of the energy of creation. So you're at the energy of creation restaurant. You can order anything you want. Right now, you don't know everything that you can possibly order. You know what you want right now based on the experiences you've had right now. So maybe your menu that you've created with your beliefs just has French fries on it. So you order French fries. And then you start eating the French fries and like, yeah, fine. But then you look over and, hey, somebody's having pasta. I didn't know I could order pasta. You can order anything. You really can. But what we normally do is we go, oh, well, I'm not really sure I can have the pasta. It's not on my menu. So I'm just going to order what's here and accept it and be okay with it. And we do this with our desires too. And let me take this a little bit further into our actual desires. So you have this desire for financial freedom, for better health, for better relationships, for good connections, for new experiences, to build amazing things, to make a difference in the world. You have those desires. And you can imagine what they look like. You can imagine what they feel like. And then when you're ready to order that experience, what happens most of the time is you get into the spot of, yay, I imagine it feels good, but now my attention goes back to what I know. Oh, look, my menu still only has French fries. I guess that's all I'm getting. I'll just get French fries. But you just imagined having pasta. Why didn't you ask for pasta? Because all I have in my menu is French fries. That's just the way it works for me. My menu is French fries. You get what you order. Okay, here's your fries. And that's okay if you decide that's what you want. But here is where you shift your attention. So you're used to the same things happening in your life over and over again. Well, sometimes I get ahead financially, then another shoe drops, or sometimes I get this break and then something happens, or feels like relationships go good and then they break up, or I feel like I'm starting to get a handle on my health and then something new crops up. That's your plate of French fries. That's what you're used to getting, so that's what you accept when it comes. Instead of ignoring reality. Let's go back to your desires. And I don't care what they are. It can be finances, it can be health, it can be relationships, it can be new experiences, it could be buying a huge piece of land, it could be traveling, opportunities, whatever it is. Come back to that desire and what it feels like. Once you have gone inside, imagined it, you know what it feels like, you've created it. So why are you still ordering and eating the French fries? Because your mind, the subconscious that holds the beliefs and the conscious that puts in the order, only knows French fries. This is why you have to ignore it. Coming back to the restaurant analogy. So let's say you get into the space of, oh man, I really want pasta, but the waiter brings you French fries. You could say, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to have French fries and that's fine. Or you could say, no, those aren't mine. I want the pasta. Boom, experience happens. Oh, I'm struggling with bills. Oh, that's not my experience. No, that's not mine. Yeah, I get that's what my mind's used to. I guess that's what's been on the menu. That's what I normally get. So it's easy to think that's mine and put my attention there, but that's not mine. It's not who I am. I give it no attention. And yes, you will feel delusional. You will feel scared. You will feel like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Because your mind gives signals of fear because your identity is shifting. The things you used to pay attention to, you always get a plate of French fries, not the pasta. The things you pay attention to is the identity that your mind is defending. And so the new things that are coming up, the new desires, threaten that identity. And your mind's doing its job. Protect the identity, protect the identity, protect the identity. Part of that identity is those beliefs that say only French fries is on your menu. There is no pasta on your menu. It's just French fries. This is why it's important to ignore reality and start paying attention to that inner world. Because here's the truth. It is all only the inner world. But because you keep accepting the French fries and keep accepting what is the way it is, you never get to experience anything different. So you have heard of so many miracles that have happened in my life. And I keep sharing them not as a way to brag or not as a way to say, look how cool I am, but as a way to say, look what's possible for you. I am in this beautiful yard with all these beautiful fruiting plants that I get to partake in. Before we moved from Texas, one of the things we said is, man, we want fruit trees and bushes in our new land. And of course we thought about, okay, well, we're going to have to plant them. It'll take a few years, but we'll cultivate. No, it doesn't. I imagined having it, said, I want that in whatever property I land on. I want to be able to go outside and pick something and eat it and have that experience. Sure enough, we landed in a place that already has it ready for us. So guess what? You can do the same thing. I didn't imagine growing and cultivating these things. Not that I wouldn't be willing to do that. I imagined eating them, picking them off my own land, and I have that experience. When you ignore the feedback loops that keep you caught in your current beliefs, When you ignore those feedback loops, start paying attention to the feelings of your desire fulfilled, of that wish fulfilled, magic happens. But that ignoring has to be complete. And I want to say this, that ignoring has to be complete. I was talking to a very dear friend of mine today, a very dear friend that I met by weird happenstance. We know there is no such thing. So a miracle. So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day as we were sitting in the park. We were sitting in the park and we were talking about miracles, and we were talking about financial miracles especially. And she came back to over and over again, but I struggle with finances and it's hard and I have to keep pushing to make it, and I have to keep doing all these different things to make sure I have clients, to make sure I can get paid. I said, yeah, because that's what you've always done. That's what's on your menu. So that's what your beliefs tell you is your reality. You always get a plate of French fries, so here's your plate of French fries. There's nothing that says you have to do that to have the result you want. It's key for you to focus on the feeling of having what you want and stop paying attention to reality, because reality will start to shift based on the energy you have on the inside. So what does that look like practically? It looks like you not knowing what you're about to do, period. Because if you know what you're about to do, you're ordering French fries and you're eating French fries, and that's all you get is more French fries. Let go of the knowing. Allow the brain to stop driving the bus. You don't have experiences to react to, just to be aware of. That's it. When you allow your brain to process things in awareness, not in reaction, you've empowered yourself to keep your attention focused on internal alignment. And what does that internal alignment mean? That is your spirit, your heart, your mind, your body in complete sync. Now, there are 3 pieces of that can shift energies. The spirit cannot, because it already is the energy of creation that is found in all things. It already is that spiritual energy that exists in everything in creation that is your spirit at the same time. So it's already vibrating at what is the highest possible vibration. It's already there, already in complete, perfect harmony with everything. And that energy flows through you. And based on that energy and the current menu you have, you're going to get little breadcrumbs. Kind of like the idea of, well, I always order fries, so I'm going to order fries. Hey, wait, that person has pasta. Maybe I can order pasta. There's your breadcrumb. Hey, maybe you want this instead. There's your breadcrumb. And it doesn't matter to spirit and energy what that breadcrumb looks like, but it's giving you the thoughts, because your mind is taking this energy and interpreting it within the beliefs it currently has of what that might look like, what that feeling would be, and makes a thought that is the closest to that based on your current filters. So it might be, for example, that feeling of harmony is more freedom. That more freedom translates in your mind to, I need more money. And the desire now is, I want more money. I want to be more financially stable. I want to be more financially secure. Okay. Now you're aware. That's where the brain stops. Boom. Okay, that desire, when I have that thought, I check my heart. Does it feel like peace? Does it feel like pain? And peace and any of the things that fall under it, joy, love, happiness, great. Anything that leans towards peace, pay attention to that. If it leans towards pain, oh, that feels heavy, that feels overwhelming, it feels like an obligation. Oh, let that one go. That thought didn't quite click. Let's try again. Be aware and pay attention and observe your thoughts, and then check them against your heart. If it feels like peace, pay attention, and I promise you the miracles will come. And I know there's going to be a lot of people here that are going to think, even those who don't comment, and some will comment that'll say, no, you have to take action. It's great to be in alignment, but you can't just sit there and do nothing and wait for things to happen. You have to take action. You have to take action. The only action you take is follow the peace. Your spirit sends signals. Your mind will interpret them the best way it can within the current filters and say, okay, why don't you try the pasta? And if it feels good, You order the pasta, you try the pasta, and you only get the pasta. And if you get fries, you say, nope, that's not for me. I'm getting the pasta. And you keep going. It's really that simple. Now, where does the body come in? The body is the one who gets to eat the food and have the experience. You are touching, you are feeling, you are speaking, you are seeing, you are tasting. You are experiencing through the body. So the body gets all the data of the experience that your mind becomes aware of. And that's it. I am observing this as it is. And yeah, if it feels off, no, don't pay attention to that anymore. We're done. We're done with that one. Oh, if it feels like peace, oh, we're going to start paying attention to that. Let's go that way. That's it. That's how it works, guys. It really is that simple. So this energy of creation flows through you. And that energy gets translated into some experience through your mind for you to perceive with your body. When you have that experience and the thoughts associated with it, it will either feel like peace or not. Follow the peace, you will manifest miracles. Don't follow the peace, you will struggle and force and fight to make things happen in life. And you can choose that route if it's more comfortable. I'm just going to keep eating fries, but I'm going to get more fries. I'm going to put gravy on my fries. I'm going to get more fries. All I do is get fries because my menu is fries and I'm in the fries restaurant. It's your choice. At the moment you live in alignment, you're going to be taken from identity to identity to identity to identity. I'm going to give you a quick one. So when we moved here to Maine, we had this opportunity to buy a karaoke bar. And not something I ever planned. Didn't want to buy a karaoke bar. Didn't have that as a goal in life. Happened to walk in. The business was for sale. We talked to the owners. Looked like it was going to be a good deal. We were working out some arrangements with them. The owners are going through a divorce, and there was some back and forth that all of a sudden, it was like a switch flipped. It felt like peace. We pursued it. Then all of a sudden, didn't feel like peace. We let it go. Guess what? I followed the peace and said, oh, here, you could own a karaoke bar. That's what's on your plate. Oh, cool. You know what? I tasted that. No, I want to go to the next one. What else you got? You go from identity to identity because your spirit is always willing to take you on the easiest path to your happiest life if you were willing to follow the peace. And some miracles happen through that. Through that, we found other people willing to invest in the businesses we are opening. That's going to make it a lot easier for us to do the things that do feel like peace. That has nothing to do with opening a karaoke bar. But because they saw our due diligence on that and were impressed by it, we now have investors for other things. You don't know the outcome. You know what you desire and what it feels like. And as soon as you get that desire, that plate of pasta, you might go, oh, hey, I really want to try that burger over there. Let me have that burger. Okay. You can now send the pasta back and get a burger. You can have anything you desire, but you must be attached to nothing. Ignore the reality around you. Observe it, appreciate it, but ignore it as in not giving your attention, not reacting to it, not trying to control it, not trying to force it, not trying to make it into what you want it to be. And I promise you, magic will happen. You will have miracles in your life. I am living proof of that. I get the amazing experience of freedom every day. I have no clue what I'm going to do tomorrow. I will wake up. Something will feel like peace. I will do that thing. Oh, it's go on a walk. Oh, it's record another podcast. Oh, it's go out and pick a couple of the pinned cherries and eat them. Oh, it's go walk down to the river and say hi to a man that's sitting there. Doesn't matter what it is. That's what I do with my life. I get to be at peace and follow the peace because my attention is here. It does not matter what happens out there. I ignore it. I'm aware of it. I accept it is what it is. And I appreciate that that experience has happened. But that experience doesn't define me. My identity is chosen by my alignment. And the more my attention is internal on aligning my spirit, my heart, my mind, and my body, the less and less I have to react to external. And the more and more miracles happen. Remember, There is nothing greater than the power of you. When you are living in alignment, you will naturally create your happiest life and manifest miracles. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.